Bradley Barcola has been left out of the Paris Saint-Germain squad again, and Liverpool are working hard behind the scenes to try to make this transfer happen before the deadline. Liverpool supporters have another major development to talk about in the ongoing Bradley Barcola transfer saga. The French winger has once again been left out of Paris Saint-Germain's matchday squad, adding even more fuel to speculations surrounding his future at the Parc des Princes. Reports today confirm that Barcola and fellow PSG attacker Ibrahim Mbaye have again been omitted from the squad, while Liverpool continue to pursue attacking reinforcements. And for Liverpool, this is potentially significant. The Reds have been pushing for Barcola throughout the summer, and the latest situation suggests that negotiations remain very much alive. Liverpool are understood to be working behind the scenes to find a solution with PSG, with the club determined to strengthen its attack before the transfer deadline. But there is still one enormous obstacle: the transfer fee. PSG know exactly how highly Liverpool rate Barcola. The French club have been demanding a huge amount for the 23-year-old winger, with reports putting the valuation anywhere around the 130 million to 150 million euro region, while other reports have suggested an even higher figure at different stages of the negotiations. That is why Liverpool's next move could be absolutely crucial. Liverpool's still pushing. Liverpool's interest in Barcola is not new. The Reds have been following the France international for much of the summer, and reports have repeatedly indicated that Liverpool have already made progress on the player's side. Personal terms have been widely reported as agreed or close to agreement, meaning the biggest challenge is now negotiating with PSG over the final transfer package. That distinction is extremely important. Liverpool do not simply need to convince Barcola, they need to convince Paris Saint-Germain, and PSG are under no obligation to sell cheaply. Barcola remains one of the club's important attacking options, and although he has now been excluded from the squad again, PSG still have a strong negotiating position because of his quality, age and contract situation. However, the repeated squad exclusions are creating a completely different atmosphere around the situation. If a player who is being heavily linked with a move continues to miss matchday squads, supporters naturally begin asking whether the club is preparing for his departure. That is exactly what is happening now. Barcola out again. The latest omission is particularly interesting because this is not an isolated incident. Barcola has been absent from PSG's squad on multiple occasions during this period of transfer uncertainty. Reports have highlighted that both Barcola and Mbaye have again been left out, while Liverpool continue to work on moves for attacking players. For Liverpool fans, the timing could hardly be more interesting. The transfer deadline is approaching. There is now very little time for Liverpool, PSG and the players' representatives to find an agreement. That means every conversation, every proposal and every negotiation could become increasingly important. Liverpool cannot afford to spend another week simply waiting. If the club genuinely wants Barcola, the expectation is that a serious proposal will be required. The price is the problem. This entire transfer saga has essentially come down to one question: how much will Liverpool pay? Recent reports have suggested that PSG could be prepared to accept somewhere in the 130 million to 150 million euro range, while other reports have placed their demands around 140 million euros or higher. That is a huge investment, but Liverpool are operating in a market where elite attacking players are extremely expensive. The club has already demonstrated its willingness to spend heavily when it believes the right player is available. And after Mohamed Salah's departure, Liverpool need to find additional quality and depth in the wide areas. Manager Andoni Iraola has also acknowledged that Liverpool still need reinforcements, particularly in attacking positions. That makes Barcola an extremely logical target. He has pace, he has directness, he can attack defenders one-on-one, he can create chances, and he has experience at the highest level with PSG and France. For Liverpool, the attraction is obvious. Why Liverpool want Barcola? Imagine Barcola arriving at Anfield. The French winger would give Liverpool another explosive option in the final third. His ability to receive the ball wide, accelerate past defenders and attack space could add a completely different dimension to Liverpool's attack. He is still only 23, which means Liverpool would not simply be signing a short-term solution. They would potentially be signing a player who could become one of the key attacking stars of the next several seasons. That long-term potential is one reason the club has continued pushing, despite PSG's enormous valuation. Liverpool know that quality comes at a price, but they also know that waiting too long could make the situation even more complicated. Deadline pressure is growing. This is where the story becomes particularly interesting. Liverpool are now working against the clock. The closer we get to deadline day, the less room there is for mistakes. If PSG lower their demands and Liverpool increase their proposal, an agreement could potentially be reached quickly. But if both clubs remain far apart financially, the deal could collapse despite the players' reported openness to the move. That is why Liverpool's next formal proposal could be one of the biggest moments of the entire saga. Recent reports have indicated that Liverpool have been preparing an improved offer, with one report claiming a €135 million proposal had been made and further negotiations expected. Other reporting has suggested Liverpool could need to move toward the €130 million to €150 million range to get PSG seriously considering a sale. So the message is clear: Liverpool are still pushing. Barcola's situation at PSG. From PSG's perspective, this situation is also complicated. Luis Enrique has a strong group of attacking players available, with competition for places extremely intense. That competition could influence Barcola's decision. If his pathway to regular starts becomes less certain, a move to Liverpool could become increasingly attractive. Liverpool, meanwhile, can offer a major role in a Premier League project that is entering a new era under Iraola. And that could be an important selling point. The Reds need attacking players. Barcola wants an important role. The timing could potentially work for both sides, but PSG must also decide whether they are willing to lose him. No agreement yet. This is where we must be careful. Barcola being left out of the squad does not mean the transfer is completed. It does not mean Liverpool have signed him. It does not mean PSG have accepted Liverpool's final offer, and it does not guarantee that Barcola will leave Paris. What it does show is that the transfer speculation remains very strong, especially with Liverpool continuing to pursue the player. The latest reports confirm that negotiations and interest remain active, so Liverpool supporters should remain excited but also patient. Until the clubs reach a final agreement and the necessary paperwork is completed, nothing should be treated as officially done. Liverpool have other options. Another important part of this story is that Liverpool are not putting all their eggs in one basket. The club has also explored alternatives. Yankuba Minte has been strongly linked with Liverpool, although Brighton rejected a £50 million proposal, while Ibrahim Mbaye has also emerged as another PSG option for the Reds. That means Liverpool's recruitment team are actively searching for solutions. But Barcola remains one of the biggest names on their list, and if Liverpool can finally find a financial agreement with PSG, the entire situation could move very quickly. The next few days could be huge. This is now the stage of the transfer window where everything can change in a matter of hours. One phone call can change the situation. One improved bid can open negotiations. One compromise over the fee can lead to an agreement, and one disagreement can completely kill the transfer. Liverpool therefore have a huge decision to make. Do they meet PSG's valuation? Do they negotiate a lower guaranteed fee with performance-related add-ons? Do they wait for PSG to reduce their demands? Or do they eventually move toward another target? Those are the questions Liverpool's recruitment team are now facing. But the fact that Barcola has once again been left out of the PSG squad will only increase attention around the situation. Liverpool fans are waiting for Liverpool supporters. This is another reason to keep watching the transfer window closely. Barcola is not yet a Liverpool player, but the door is certainly not closed. The negotiations remain one of the most interesting stories of the final stage of the window, and Liverpool are reportedly continuing to work hard behind the scenes. The players' reported agreement on personal terms gives Liverpool an important advantage. The remaining battle is with PSG, and that battle is all about money. If Liverpool can bridge the gap between what they want to pay and what PSG want to receive, the French winger could finally be heading toward Anfield. But if PSG refuse to compromise, Liverpool may have to decide whether Barcola is worth paying an enormous fee for. Final update. So, Liverpool fans, here is the situation as things stand. Bradley Barcola has been left out of the PSG squad again. Liverpool remains strongly interested. Liverpool are continuing to work behind the scenes. The transfer fee remains the biggest obstacle. Personal terms have been widely reported as agreed or close to agreement. The transfer deadline is approaching, increasing the pressure on both clubs. And most importantly, there is still no official agreement between Liverpool and PSG. The next Liverpool proposal could therefore be absolutely decisive. If the Reds are prepared to push toward PSG's valuation, we could see serious progress very soon. If they are not, this saga could continue right until deadline day. For now, Barcola remains a PSG player, but his repeated omission from the squad has made his future one of the biggest transfer stories surrounding Liverpool. And with Liverpool working hard behind the scenes, the coming days could decide whether this long-running pursuit finally ends with Bradley Barcola wearing the famous red shirt at Anfield. Liverpool fans, would you pay €140 million or more to sign Bradley Barcola? Let me know your thoughts. Do you believe Liverpool should go all in and get the deal done before the deadline, or should the club walk away if PSG refuse to lower their demands? One thing is certain, the Barcola saga is not over yet, and with the clock ticking toward deadline day, Liverpool now need to act. Barcola to Liverpool? The next few days could be decisive. Stay tuned for the latest Liverpool transfer news, because if Liverpool make that final push, this story could explode very quickly.